Yes. Welcome to Come Well to another episode, another doorway, another portal, another show entitled Am I as I am, as you are? Today's show is going to be a continuation of The Mother's Heart, but this is going to be a part two. So today's topic is The Mother's Heart, part two. The first one with The Mother's Heart, I got a lot of unique responses, and also as well as requests, if possible, to if I was able to elaborate more on the topic, on the subject, and was no big deal. It's no problem. All I gotta do is just go more and more internal and come in contact with that internal gnosis and pull out of it whatever the spirit reveals to me. So this is a part two to The Mother's Heart. Once again, and before I go on with today's show, just want to I appreciate the acknowledgement from watchers, listeners, path walkers, my subscribers, i.e. my subconscious scribers, old followers, new followers. It's all appreciated. Also the followers, you followers are also leaders as well by nature. Okay, we're all leaders in this. So let's dive right into it, into the lines. Once again, give lines for minds. It's a trade-off, lines for minds. So let's go into the first line, or what I call the first doorway. First doorway is rhythm mimics rhythm. The Sri Yantra symbol, also known as the Navayoni chakra, the Sri Yantra, it's called the Sri Yantra symbol, also known as the Navayoni chakra. Nava, of course, meaning the navel, the yoni meaning the womb. Once again, kind of goes back to the mother, to the feminine aspect. The Sri Yantra symbol, also known as the Navayoni chakra, which is the navel womb intelligence, is a symbol representing kineticism of the beat of the mother's heartbeat in replication mode. It's in synthesizing mode. I'll go into that in a minute. So basically, this Sri Yantra symbol, also known as the Navayoni chakra, is a symbol representing kineticism of the mother's heartbeat in replication mode. It is the geometry of the muse intelligence. The muse are quanto-sentient entities which reside within the mitochondria of the infant that activate the midichlorian intelligence, or the midichlorian signals. When you put a song on, the baby starts dancing and or moving immediately, as well as singing along with the sing-along too. It's an entity which immediately mimics any and every rhythm and sound as soon as it arrives in the body. The body itself is an imitating, mimicking, copying intelligence. That's why influence and inspiration are so powerful in people's lives till this day, from child to teen to adulthood. So the Sri Yantra symbol is something similar to these symbols I have on my wall. I have these symbols all over my house, different symbols. all over my house. Uh, the Sri Yantra symbol. Let me see if I could just pull it up real quick so you guys can see what I'm talking about. It's basically nothing but a kind of a synthesizing symbol. It represents synthesization or that which synthesizes. I know you probably may have seen this symbol before, but it's basically just the beat, the mother's heartbeat pulsating through the heart of the infant, the Sri Yantra symbol. This is the Sri Yantra symbol. I think it's supposed to be like 9 triangles intersecting within each other. But this is the Sri Yantra symbol. These symbols or these angles, these corners in this shape are basically representing a magnetic pulsation within the heart of the infant, of the baby. These symbols above me, even this symbol right here, which is the flower of life or the seed of life, people may be familiar with. These are basically just, it represents a pulsating or an echoing, an echo chamber or rippling chamber within the heart of the infant or the heart of the infinite. Also, the word infant is, or the word heart derives from ancient Cometian god called Heh and a goddess called Hehu or Hehut. So Het and Hehut is where the word heart derives from, as well as Heteru. But and this is basically the masculine and the feminine divine meeting, which is also what the Sri Yantra symbol represents, the feminine and the masculine meeting or holding council, holding court together to infuse into the androgynous intelligence. So the Sri Yantra symbol, all these little shapes and these little points and corners in these symbols and in these shapes represent a pulsating factor of the mother's heart, pulsating, the beat of the mother's heart pulsating through the semi-beat or the sub-beat of the child or the infant, for the infant's beat to mimic that beat, to replicate that beat, to copy that beat, to put that beat inside of its system, to have its own beat of life. Okay, so it's called also the Navayoni symbol, once again, which is very feminine. The Nava, of course, is the navel, and the Yoni being the womb. So the navel womb intelligence, the Nava Yoni chakra, the Sri Yantra symbol. And these colors and things like that on it are just different vibrations, different frequencies manifesting into these reverberating shades, which will be called colors or collars as well, where that derives from as well. So the baby is a mimicking thing. That's why you play peekaboo with the baby, peekaboo, peekaboo, and the baby starts to do peekaboo with you. It tries to mimic you. It's doing everything that you're doing because it is a mimicking machine. So just like the baby's behavior and personality and everything is molded when they're young at that age, from that age to 7 years old, or from pretty much that age to 3 years old, really. They are a constant mimicking machine. So just like their body mimics, their internals mimic, their innards mimic you, or that which is the most affluent to it. It gets an affinity to immediately. So it mimics, it's a mimicking thing. We copy and we mimic and we imitate that first thing that we see, that first thing that we touch, that first influence on us. It makes an imprint and embeds a certain kind of rhythm and beat and things of that nature within our chemistry. Okay, and this creates our own unique alchemy throughout life. So when I'm talking about symbol representing kineticism of the beat and replication mode. Kineticism is just kinetics, it's just movement. So kineticism of the beat is just the movement of the beat. That's what the Sri Yantra symbol represents. It's like a movement. It's a pulsating movement. And this pulsating factor it splashes out, it sprouts out, it crowns out in different corners. This is where you get angles and triangles and different things in different corners because it's hitting every nook and cranny, every corner, every crescent, every crease, every fold inside of the infant's heart as the mother's heart is beating through this infant. And being of an infant, we are more in a translucent like material or texture, the baby's skin, which is why it's so soft, which is why their bones are like rubber. When we were infants, our bones are like rubber. We can grab our foot and put it in our mouth and put it in our ear. And it was a very flexible, we were very flexible organisms at that time, when we are at that time. And our skin is very gossamer. It's like it's there, but it's not. It's very soft. If you touch a baby and hold the baby for a period of 5 to 10 seconds and let go of the baby's arm or leg, you're gonna see your fingerprints and your handprint on that baby's skin, on that infant skin. So being that we're very translucent, we're very susceptible to high influence, and we mimic that which leaves an imprint on us. Just another understanding of why the mother's heartbeat is inside of is our beats. It's not our beat. This is the mother's heartbeat that beats through the body of us. So the Sri Yantra symbol, kineticism, is a symbol representing kineticism of the beat in replication mode. It's replicating. And this replicating is also known as synthesization, or as it beats, it's synthesizing and synthesizing and synthesizing. It gets smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller into the core nucleus of our being. That's what synthesization is. It's getting deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper into the middle, the very middle piece, the very middle part of our being. It's finding the middle to it. It's starting from here and it goes here and it gets more, and it gets middle, then it gets more 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 middle, and it keeps getting to the middle aspect, and that's what you call synthesization. So these symbols are on my wall and around my home, including this symbol. This is symbolic of synthesization. So this is what's happening when when the baby is by the mother and the mother's heart is beating. This is what's going on inside the baby, inside of the heart, inside of all our hearts when this happened. Whoever the mother was, whether it was your grandmother, your aunt, your older sister, whatever, it was the mother's heartbeat inside of the heart. It was synthesizing, finding its way in every corner, every angle, every point, every groove, every wave, every curve of rhythm uh, into our heart to create the complex design or the divine design of us. And this also begins to influence our mindset as well. So, and the geometry of the muse intelligence, the muse, when I was talking about the muse, are quantosentient entities which reside within the mitochondria of the infant that activate the midichlorian signals. This is another way to understand certain things. The geometry of the muse is that intelligence. It's a quantosentient, nanosentient, quantosentient intelligence that it's a very middled intelligence, if you want to say, for better words, for better understanding, that it it's something that moves. It's that which moves the body. That's why we have things called music. Music comes from the intelligence of the muse in our body. It's a rhythmic sentient. Okay, it's a rhythmic entity, literally, within our body. When that gets influenced, our bodies begin to get influenced. So that first influence of the muse, the intelligence of the muse within the mitochondria, which is within the mother's memory, because that's what the mitochondria is, activates the midichlorian signals. The midichlorian is the connection between life force and life form. You see, so that which is a beat and that which is a body. Life force, life form. That's the midichlorian intelligence. It connects and enhances the midichlorian signals within the mitochondrial cell that the muse swim through and rhythm through to create that beat in your heart. Just to break it down a little more simple. Like I tell everybody else as well, if you want to get more into this, into any subject, any topic that you may find your spirit and your soul connecting to or having an affinity to, with whatever points I'm touching upon, whatever video, also let me know as well. Send it through the email on the bottom of all my videos. And things can get a lot more deeper because I have images. I have a lot of different things connected to each video for different reasons, depending upon the person's path and the person's calling. Okay, so like I said, we mimic. That's what a baby does. A baby mimics. We all mimic and we all sing along. It's high influence. So that which is a high influence on us creates a we create a great affinity to, whether we know it or not. That's why whether you know your mother's heartbeat is in you or not, it is, whether you know it or not. Okay, so just want to touch upon that at the moment. Now, before I go into the next one, I just want to say this real quick, a little extra info. When I was pertaining to the heart chakra as mother in the first video, or the mother's heart, part one, this is part two. But in the part one aspect, when I was pertaining to the heart chakra as mother in the first video, and saying the heart is the place where she holds court and counsel, you can also see this symbology and archetype in the court system and courtrooms as well, known as Lady Justice, also known as the goddess Themis in Greek mythology, and the goddess Justitia in Roman mythology, where the word justice comes from. Justitia, the goddess Justitia in the Roman mythology. Okay, which is nothing once again but Abyssinian mythology. Where the word justice comes from. And if you want to know who Lady Justice is, she is the statue. If you ever were in a courtroom, or if you are in the court system, work in the court system, whatever it may be, she is the statue behind or to the side of every judge with the blindfold over her eyes, holding a sword in her left hand, I think, and a scale in her right hand, or maybe a sword in her right hand and a scale in her left hand. Matter of fact, I think it's the sword in the left hand and the scale in the right hand, because the left as well is also known as the feminine aspect, the heart. The sword, the scale in the right hand, the masculine aspect. The sword is symbolic of the spine and kundalini energy, or Shakti energy, which is also where the Shri Yantra symbol comes from. The Shri Yantra is also connected to, synonymous to the word or the goddess Shakti. The sword being the spine and kundalini energy, or Shakti energy, and the scale being the balancing factor of energy, mind, and emotion. Once again, subliminally pertaining to the purpose of a chakra or chakra system, specifically the Sri Yantra or the Navayoni chakra, i.e., the heart chakra, also known as the ancient Alkebalon goddess Sha or Sa. That's why when the baby is crying, the mother gently and lovingly says, shh, to the baby while she's rocking the baby, holding it. Shh, okay, shh, it's all right, shh. She's saying shh because it's genetically encoded within the ancient codex of her DNA to say shh, because there was a goddess by the name, or by the deification, no, by the name of Sha or Sa. Sa and Sha are ancient goddesses, or the ancient goddess name or pronunciation, or the tongue, the ancient goddess tongue of ancient Alkebulan. And this is the goddess Sha. This is why the mother says shh. This is why the man says, the father says shh to the baby. It's not by mistake accident or coincidence. Everything is perfect by divine design. Okay, more clarity. The next doorway is you are directly connected to mother through the second chakra, which is the umbilical cord, and the fourth chakra, which is the heart chakra. So you are directly connected to mother through the second chakra, umbilical cord, the belly or belly button, and the fourth chakra, which is the heart chakra. The Nava and Sri Yantra, just like the Nava Yoni. So the Nava Yoni, you have the Nava and the Yoni and the Sri Yantra. See, so this is where we are connected to the mother, according to chakra system, through the navel and through the heart, and also through the root, which is the Yoni, the Nava Yoni, Sri Yantra, or the Anahata, as well as also known as the heart chakras as well. Okay, so this is where you are connected to the mother. Um, we are more connected to the father through the fifth chakra, which is the spiritual chakra, the throat, the arms, the creation, the blue chakra, and the seventh chakra, which is the brain and or mind or crown chakra. Okay, so we're connected to father from here and here. We're connected to mother here, here, and also here, which is the root. And the root as well is also connected with the father as well. I'm going to have a video based upon divine father as well to understand the divine father connection. But we're talking about the divine mother at the moment, the mother's heart. It might be called the father's mind. I'm not too sure. I'm going to converse with spirit and get more clarity on that title for that when I touch upon the masculine aspect. Okay, the next line and or doorway is no matter how old you think you are always a child in the eyes of the divine mother or the great mother. You always remain a child in spirit and in soul, the epitome of divine purity and divine innocence when it comes to the esoteric understanding of the soul. You are never older than 7 years old. That's why we have 7 chakras. That's what that specific gnosis is symbolic of. And every chakra is symbolic of 7 years. Once again, just resorting you back, rewinding you back, reminding you and rewinding you back to the connection of mother and child and mother, this connection. And just like, no matter how old you are, even to this day with me, I don't care how old you are, I still see you as a baby. You're always going to be a baby. And, you kind of see that aspect as well because I have a son and he's a man, young man, but, that mother comes out of my heart as the father that I am, and I still perceive him a certain way. With my nieces, or whatever, my cousins, little cousins, whoever it may be, my little brothers, you still see them as these little things no matter how older they get. And this is just the parent's eyes. Until you become a parent, you won't really fully understand what I'm saying because it's not really an understanding, it's more of an experience. Once again, like I always say that relationship based, I said, do not seek to understand your mate. You are never going to. They hardly understand themselves. Learn and enjoy to experience your mate rather than trying to understand them. Okay, just wanted to say that in the moment as well. So it's more of an experience. Okay, or yeah, things of that nature. And don't get me wrong, you can be an older sister or older brother and have little ones under you, but that's still kind of sibling love, a sibling connection. Parenthood is a different turn around a different corner. It has its own unique position in your perception or influence, own unique influence in your perception as well as also, being a parent, but it's just two different contrasts. Share kind of the same platform, but it's still two different contrasts. Something to experience. And you'll see how your perception begins to play and shift. Okay. The next line in our doorway is the mouth, your mouth, the mouth is called orifice. The womb, the yoni, is called orifice. Both the mouth and the womb is called an orifice. When the mouth opens and yawns in the morning when we yawn, we wake up and we yawn in the morning, it's symbolic of the womb opening and you being born or born again. These are different symbologies to play with your perception, to begin shifting your perception, your perception like a kaleidoscope. Once again, like I said, you have a kaleidoscope, you shift that one angle, and all the shapes disappear and turn into something totally different, shift into another angle, another degree. All the shapes in that scope just differ. They begin to change and morph into other different shapes. That's also symbolic of the Sri Yantra as well, also symbolic of the symbols and symbologies on my wall, also symbolic of synthesization, the intelligence of synthesization of the beating within the heart. So just playing with your perception at the moment, lines for minds. That's what I'm here to provide, lines for people who have access and invoke their minds to shift your perception, to begin seeing things how we naturally perceive things at one time before we became distracted, influenced, and interrupted mentally, uh, to create that space between us and our ancient lineage and our ancient ways of thinking. Um, so when the mouth opens and yawns in the morning, it's symbolic of the womb opening and you being born or born again. Just like when you are washing your face with both hands side by side, washing your face and then opening your hands and pushing the face through the hands is the opening of the womb or birth. Once again, imitating birth, imitating the mother's womb, imitating the child and the mother, the baby and the mother and the infant. Mother is always there to remind you that I am here. No matter what you do, what you are, how you do it, where you do it at, it doesn't matter. Yawning, you open your mouth. That's why the mouth is symbolic of the womb. They look like each other. Symbolic. Your eyes as well are two wombs. So we have three wombs on our face. One womb, two wombs, three wombs. These are all symbolic of wombology that mimic the womb of a woman. So when we open our eyes, it's symbolic of the womb opening. We open our eyes, it's symbolic of the womb opening, and we open our mouth, yawn, it's symbolic of the womb opening. Also, while we are washing our face, these two right here are both skins or both lips of the womb. So we wash our face and we push our face through to wash the water and wash the soap off our face. We push the face through, it's symbolic of being born again, of the birth happening once again. So all those who were baptized or seek to become baptized, you baptize yourself every morning when you wash your face. This is a baptism. This is a self-initiation. And there is no higher initiation than birth. Okay, so just want to put that through. It's the opening of the womb, the opening of the birth. Once again, you are constantly being born again, over and over again, and you are giving birth to yourself once again. See, nobody can make you born again but you, and you do it subconsciously, unconsciously, unknowingly, all the time, every day, every morning, and even every night, because we yawn at night too when we wash our face. These hands together are symbolic of each lip of the womb. But the masculine factor is there as well. You want to know the masculine factor? The masculine factor is when I do this. Then it turns into 10 phalluses. But when 5 phalluses are together, it turns into one skin of the uterus of the womb. And when the 5 phalluses are together in one hand, it turns into the other skin of the womb. Together they become the womb. So you see, the cosmic agenda is always here to remind you of mother and father. Even though, like I said, this topic is based upon the mother's heart and us, our connection to the divine feminine. But don't get it confused, because the divine feminine is also the divine masculine. The phallus, the yoni. The phallus, the yoni. The phallus, the yoni. So even the womb, the yoni and the phallus, masculine and feminine, is in our very hands. If we understand these symbologies, this sacred geometry, which was left for us to understand eventually. This is something else to play with your perception. The next line and or doorway is your external skin. Your external skin is made of the same skin as the mother's inner uterine walls, or what is known as the endometrium. So your epidermis is a, once again, perfect imitation and copying and mimicking of the same texture and the same makeup as your mother's inner uterine walls, which is called the endometrium. So your epidermis is the endometrium. You are inside out. That's why you were inside your mother and came out your mother. When you were inside your mother and came out your mother, you turned her insides outside. This is why she loves hugging you. She loves embracing you. She loves kissing you because she is embracing herself. This is another way of connection, another way of understanding the connection of mother and child, whether even the mother knows it or not. She is embracing her own skin, literally, figuratively, however you want to put it. It is a literal thing. So basically, you're more closer to the principle of the makeup of matter of mother than you think, both subconsciously and biologically. Your epidermis is her endometrium. See, so like the mother cleans her womb, she cleans her baby. She cleans her baby because she cleans her womb. Whether she knows it or not, it's synonymous to the same thing. Yes, your outer skin, your epidermis, subcaseous, or dermis, epidermis, subcaseous, pardon me, your dermis, because epidermis underneath there, then subcaseous, the third layer, before it gets to the cells and things of that nature, of melanocytes. So your dermis is this is how the mother's endometrium feels. Literally, once again, connecting you back to the mother more closer than you think you are. It gets real. The next line in our doorway is sleeping in a bed for those. Now we're going to the sleeping aspect. Once again, let me go back to the thing real quick. When I was talking about the beating of the heart and this synthesization or the sacred geometry above me and around me, or the sacred geometry, the symbols I have. Like I said, I have them all around my house. All around my house. From the bathroom to the kitchen, to the laundromat, to the bedroom, to the rooms, to whatever, and so on and so forth, living room, everywhere. These sacred geometries, these symbols are known as the pulsation or the echoing, the echo chamber of the mother's heart finding chamber within you. So the heart chakra is also the heart chamber. Um, so it's echoing, it's pulsating. As it's pulsating, it's synthesizing within you. And like I said, within you, we have these quanto-sentient entities called the muse. And quanto is once again a very centered nucleus and point and core within the being of the infant. You have micro, then you have nano, then you have pico, then you have femto, then you have atto, then you have zepto, then you have yocto, then you have quecto, then you have hecto, then you have yoni, then you have deci, then you have quano. So when I say quano, people say micro and nano like a microscope or a nanoscope, but quano is actually the deepest that's been detected by the naked eye and under a microscope. Is the most centered point. So we can say a quantum is also maybe quantum or atomic. to some degree. Quantum is very related to atomic. A lot of people say micro and nano, but there's other different synthesizing points that create such a deep influence and deep embedding and imprinting on the baby's heart chamber through the mother's heartbeat. So as this heartbeat is beating, is going through the micro intelligence, through the nano intelligence, through the pico intelligence, through the femto intelligence, through the auto intelligence, through the zepto intelligence. It's getting deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper into the middle, through the yocto intelligence, the quecto intelligence, the hecto intelligence, the deci intelligence, and the quano intelligence. So these are quano-sentient entities, the muse, M-U-S-E, where the word music comes from. These are actual entities, things that when they are influenced, they move, you move. Okay, just want to make sure I make that clear. So it's just different forms of synthesization, or what you call amalgamation, or coalescence, or integration, or similarity, or different depths of contrast. Okay. Now, the next line in our doorway is, this is for people when you are sleeping in your bed. This is things to understand inside of a bed when you're sleeping at night or in the morning or whatever it may be during the day, on the couch, whatever. When you are sleeping, this is to keep in mind how close you are to the mother and the mother's heart. The next line in doorway is, sleeping in a bed covered by covers and sheets. Covered by covers and sheets is symbolic of being back inside the mother again, going through embryogenesis. What do I mean by this? The two pillows on your bed, the two pillows on your bed are symbolic of the mother's breast, the two breasts on the mother's chest. The sheet is symbolic of the embryonic sac, because the sheet goes underneath the cover. The sheet is symbolic of the embryonic sac that you were covered by as a gamete, zygote, embryo, and fetus inside of the mother. You were covered by this embryonic sac. That's what the sheet represents when you pull the sheet over you. And the cover is symbolic of what is known as the omentum, or the omentum membrane. And that is the skin between the embryonic sac and the mother's flesh, or the mother's stomach, the mother's belly, or the dermis, if you want to say, or the subcacious, to make it more, because like I said, I'm also a science biologist. I'm not trying to get too wordy with y'all at the moment. But I'm just trying to make an example. And the mattress that you are laying on, i.e. the ma'at, or where ma'at rest, because that's where the word mattress comes from. This is where ma'at rest, or ma'a, which is ma, which is mother, which is where mother rest, is symbolic of the placenta. You are way more closer to the mother's heart than you think, than you know. The two pillows on your bed are symbolic of your mother's two breasts. The sheet that you pull over you first is symbolic of the embryonic sac. The cover that you grab and pull over the sheet over you is symbolic of the omentum, or the membrane of the omentum. And this is why you turn and you sleep in fetal position, in the position of a fetus. The mattress that you sleep on, the mattress, which is ma'at, where ma'at rest, is symbolic of the placenta that you are laying on, covered by the embryonic sac, protected by the omentum, nursing, or beginning to nurse, or getting ready to nurse on her breast when she gives birth, when you are given birth, given the right to pass, to come out into this reality. That's also known as the rites of passage. You are passing through something, which is the initiation. Once again, rites of passage is the highest initiation, which is why birth is the most highest initiation. There's no higher initiation than birth. I don't care what nobody's telling you, what anybody's trying to influence you of. There's no such thing. Your initiation already was. You cannot be reinitiated into anything else ever again in this life. Okay, so that's what's known as symbolic of the placenta. And this is also something to keep in mind as well while you're sleeping on your pillows at night. The specific pillow you usually sleep on is a specific breast that you used to nurse on or feed on. Okay, and the left pillow and the right pillow is also symbolic of other things as well, which if you want to go more deeper into that, I can give more deep detail to that. Like I said, check the email out, get in touch with me for deeper gnosis of this understanding and this connection with you to mother, and I will go more in depth into detail. Um, the next line of doorway is, now this is in regards of an intimate relationship with you and your mates. Once again, how even you and your mates are together are symbolic of the divine mother or the mother's hearts or the divine feminine. In regards of an intimate relationship, at times when couples feel the need and or want and or desire to sleep alone, that in itself is symbolic of the embryo wanting to sleep and mother alone by itself, just as it developed inside of her by itself and was born by itself. Most of the time, it's nothing personal, it's mostly principle. People who don't have siblings, who weren't raised with siblings, usually prefer to sleep by themselves more than people who were born and raised with siblings or were born with another twin or another child inside of the stomach of mother. So people who don't have siblings, usually who weren't born with siblings, who weren't in the stomach or laying on the placenta with another sibling inside the mother, usually prefer to sleep by themselves more than people who are raised and born with siblings because they're not used to sharing mother's body with another. So if that person was born by themselves and wasn't raised with siblings or wasn't born with another sibling in the same, sharing the same placenta or the same locate or the same body with the mother at the same time, they prefer most of the time to sleep by themselves. It may come out in an argument, it may come out in a friction, confrontation, whatever it may be, but that spirit leading itself back to itself to sleep by itself. And when it sleeps by itself, they sometimes feel more comfortable. That's why I said it's not nothing personal to you. It's not nothing personal to the woman, not really personal to the man. We're all here for spiritual understanding, for the solar nature of our being. Everything is about understanding. You can't judge, like I always tell people. Judgment stagnates and kills understanding. You have to seek understanding. Okay, so they, enjoy sleeping by themselves more than people who were born with siblings because that's the way they were born. They're not used to sharing mother's body with another. Okay, we're here to understand each other as we are, but also have a deeper understanding of our uh, infant uh, or infinite uh, understandings and purpose. Okay, the next line and or doorway is, whichever direction the head is in when sleeping or resting, whether north, east, west, or south, is also symbolic of the birth or birthing process. Most heads, when you are sleeping in your bed, most heads are sleeping or directed south or southward, symbolic of being born head first, because the south gate is the womb. So you can see right now in your bedroom, look at where the sun rises and where the sun sets. Most of you people will have your beds and your pillows, wherever you lay your head at night, your pillow will be facing most likely south. And if those who are facing north, that means that they were pulled out feet first. People who lay down their pillows that are facing more southward or towards the south direction, the southern direction of the setting of the sun, were pulled out head first out the womb. So most of us were pulled out head first. So most of us have our pillows facing towards the south. Once again, bringing you back to the connection between you and the mother, or the feminine, or the great mother, the divine mother. Not necessarily, of course, your physical mother, absolutely, but she represents a greater mother. That is her mother too. Like I told you, you and your mother share the same mother, just like you and your father share the same father. But nevertheless, appreciate your physical mother as well. Okay, you are the spiritual mother, appreciating your physical mother, both male and female. Doesn't matter, because the mother resides within the heart. She sits here. That's the goddess Sha, or the goddess Sa. This is once again ancient Alkebulan goddess. Uh, the next line in our doorway is your body, your very body, your body laying in the bed. Just the example of the body laying in the bed is symbolic of the mother's heart inside of her own chest. Your body is her heart, and the bed is her body. That's why the word bed sounds like the word body. Betty, body, bed. They say Betty bye when they tell the child to go to sleep. That's why they know the mother son say, okay, it's time to go to sleep now. Betty bye. Betty, bed, Betty, body. The word bed derives from the word abode or abode. And the word abode is the word body, because the word abode was also used before to describe these planetary bodies. So abode meant planetary bodies, like what we call these planets and things of that nature, if you want to go there, the conversation. But these were abodes. These weren't planets. These were called abodes. And these abodes were specific of bodies or embodiments. So the very word bed is the word body. And if you are your mother's heart, then you sleeping in your bed is symbolic, metaphysically symbolic of the mother's heart inside of her own chest. Okay? Understand that in a way. The next line in the doorway is sleeping naked with little to no clothing in your bed is also symbolic of embryogenesis and fetal development, the subconscious remnant memory of mother connection. I mean, that's kind of, I know it's kind of wordy, but the very first part is kind of self-explanatory. Sleeping naked in the bed. Weren't you naked as you were developing inside your mother's body? Yes. So even sleeping naked in bed or little to no clothing is also symbolic of embryogenesis or the fetal development. And that's just subconscious remnant memory that you have. That's why you do those things. You want little to no clothing when you're sleeping in bed. It reminds you of you being back inside of mother, close to the mother's heart. We are more connected to mother than we think we are. The next line on the doorway is once again dealing with mates, intimate relationships, married, whatever unions, so on and so forth. This is in connection. This line right here is in connection to this point, or this point is in connection to that understanding and topic. And another way of perceiving what we call love is the divine union of mother and child. The very aspect of love is another representation of mother and child. You in love with your mate is symbolic of the love between mother and child. You in love with your husband, or you in love with your man, you in love with your woman is symbolic of the love between mother and child. What do I mean by this? So both mates, from a spiritual perspective, turn into the divine brother and sister, developing in one mother's body. What do I mean by this? both mates sleeping in one bed together. That's symbolic of both embryos being developed, going through the fertilization stages and trimester inside of the mother's body at the same time as spiritual beings of one another in a certain cosmic sense of understanding and interpretation. You sleeping in the bed with your man, you sleeping in the bed with your woman, man, king sleeping with queen, queen sleeping with king together in a bed. Once again, the bed is always symbolic of the mother's body. Always symbolic of the mother's body, the mattress being the placenta. Understand that. So when you and your mate, y'all in love, or have this love connection, and you sleep together in the bed, that's symbolic of both brother and sister or siblings sleeping within the eternal sleep inside of mother. So yes, you with love for your mate, and when y'all are together, that's symbolic of siblings being together inside of mother. This is why a man calls his woman, no, sister. A woman calls her man brother. And this is like at first meeting too, or certain things, sister, she's she's pretty. Her sister's pretty. You know what I'm saying? That that brother's handsome. Why do we say these things? Nothing's by coincidence, accidents, or mistakes. This is by divine design. It is on purpose. Everything is perfectly aligned. Divine alignment. Nothing is by mistake. This is why your head was placed on top, your feet on the bottom, and your arms are on the side. This is divine design. Divinity does not make mistakes. Everything is perfect as it is. It is perfect within its imperfection, just as it is. You just have to figure it out. You just have to decode it and break it down. Everything is hidden in plain sight. The proof, the answer, the truth is hidden in plain sight. Okay, the next line in the doorway is, my maybe one or two more. Once again, referencing the bed aspect or sleeping or being in the bed. Eating in bed is also symbolic of the embryonic feeding process while in fertilizing stages of development. I mean, do I really have to go in on that one? We all have ate in bed, or we all eat in bed, or we all have ate in bed. Why do you think you like to eat in bed subconsciously? Why do we eat in bed? That brings us back to the subconscious and unconscious remnant cosmic divine memories of the infinite, the infant, the infinite. Because you have the God, Heh, which is the finite, and you have Hehu or Hehut, which is the infinite. So you have the God Heh and the goddess Hehut or Hehu, Hehut as the infinite. Heh is the finite, Hehut, her is the infinite. The heart, the finite, the infinite, the infant. Everything is symbolic of the infant and the mother. Whether you know it or not, whatever you're doing, however you're moving, however you're living, there's always a immediate divine connection back to source. Okay, this is if you want some books of reference as well to understand what this love aspect, this love pattern is about, you have a book right here called Love is a Fire. This is a very powerful book. Love is a Fire to understand the love aspect. They touch upon mates and intimacy as well, but this is actually just the divine mother or the woman which sits in your heart. This is also another interesting book too as well, The Egyptian Path of Love. Egyptian Path of Love is an interesting one as well. Sometimes I'll give book references. A lot of this gnosis I receive comes from just channeling, from just asking my spirit, and commune and conversing with my soul, but also it doesn't hurt to have some books on deck as well, because I always have a very live library in my homes. This is the magical sexual practice of ancient Egypt, but don't get too caught into the sex. It's not talking about really intimacy to that degree. It's talking about you being your intimate self, you getting intimate with yourself, or understanding the intimate functions between your organs, between your chemistry and your chemical in your body. Urbak, Egyptian initiate, the initiation systems. And a lot of this has to do with the mother's chamber, the queen's chamber, the king's chamber, the pyramids and temples, and why these positions and places and things were happening, and rites of passage, and so on and so forth. This is all, remember, we were very internal beings. We were hyperbule initiates, what you call hyperbule. Nothing was literal. Everything wasn't taken for face value or surface. Everything was internal, esoteric, hidden, and occult and metaphysical. The science of love. Once again, understanding the heart. These are all understandings of heart. Don't get too caught up in the titles, nor the images as well. It's pertaining to the heart. This as well, the passion of Isis and Osiris. Another book as well. Just certain books that have involving the aspect, the metaphysical and the occult aspect and understanding, and the esoteric as well as the exoteric connection and understanding of this LOVE phenomenon, dealing with your heart. And this can also as well, give you understanding of the mother, divine mother. Emotional wellness is also a powerful one, the power hitter by Osho. And this other book as well called Being in Love. So even though they may be talking about intimate relationships and things of that nature, or sexual activity or sexual intimacy, this is a understanding for you to understand yourself, not to understand things of that nature, but to understand yourself, and most importantly, experience yourself. These are just a few. I have a whole library over here as well as my room, different places throughout the house, but just to show you a few, to if you want to tap in, if you guys are book readers to that degree. I'm more of an experiencer and a channeler, but for those who like to read books, check them out. Few references. Make of it what you will. So, once again, this is just a touch-up of part 2 to The Mother's Heart. That's pretty much what it is for the day. Am I as I am, most importantly, as you are. I'll see you guys in the consultations. I'll see you guys in the sessions. I'll see you guys in the classes. Until then, keep reading, keep researching, keep studying. 1, 0.